is it best for Teofimo Lopez to go fight Jaron Boots Ennis right out of the gate? I do not think that it's as drastic of a difference between Jaron Boots Ennis and Teofimo Lopez as people think it is. I know there's a lot of people out there that think Jaron Boots Ennis would just annihilate Teofimo Lopez. Is that probably the favorite in that fight? Sure. But don't rule Teofimo Lopez out of a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis. That's not out of the question. Teofimo Lopez certainly does have a pathway to defeating Jaron Boots Ennis if they were to fight. There's no question about that. But it doesn't make sense for him to jump from 140 to 147 and go fight the king of 147 right now. I don't think so. Now, I'm not opposed to that at all. It's a mega fight, and if they can get that deal done, I'm all for it. I have nothing wrong against him wanting Jaron Boots Ennis. That fight does make a lot of sense for him. But if Devin Haney is, in fact, on the table, that's the fight that I think he should go pursue. Devin Haney clearly wants to fight Teofimo Lopez, and on the other side of that, Teofimo Lopez would be interested, I have to imagine, in fighting Haney. And here's why I propose that option. I think you're talking about two guys that are both rumored to be, or not, are kind of believed to be in that range of, let's say, that maybe 9 to 13, 14-ish range on the pound-for-pound list. Both guys are obviously very, very good fighters. And if they were to fight, both guys would be fighting at 147, therefore giving themselves a chance to go fight at that weight class. And you would be fighting against two of the top pound-for-pound type of guys. The winner would obviously solidify themselves as being in that top 10 pound-for-pound list. And at that point, you'd also have the confidence, you have the exposure, you have the build-up, per se, to go force that fight with Jaron Boots Ennis. Because remember, for Boots Ennis, unless he decides to move to 154, if he's staying at 147, he's mandatory to go fight another opponent. He won't be able to go do those fights against Teofimo Lopez unless he relinquishes the belt. I don't think he's going to be doing that. Therefore, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez would be a great fight to have happen. I know some people might not be entertained by that fight, but if Devin Haney brings his best self out and Lopez fights the way he fought on the Times Square card, you're going to have a mega fight. And here's the thing about Teo. Almost every single time Teo fights to the level of his opposition. When he fights against guys that are subpar or maybe quote-unquote tune-up fights, he does not look as good. He tends to fight to the level of his opponent. Now, if he fights the version of Devin Haney that we saw on the Times Square card, who knows what's going to happen? That could be an ugly fight. But I believe that Devin Haney is going to look a little bit better than he fought on the Times Square card. Devin Haney was outside of the ring for a little bit over a year at that point. And at the same time, Devin Haney also took a massive beating and had obviously a lot of fear, I believe, in being hit when he stepped back in that ring. He should be able to shake that all off now. And I think we're going to see a much more improved Devin Haney in his second fight out. Therefore, you're going to get a great fight between Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. And that, preferably for me, is the route that those guys go. And the winner of that fight would then be destined to go fight Jaron Boots Ennis. I think that would be the fight to have happen. And if we're going to look at the facts right now, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez would be a neck-and-neck fight. Probably 50-50 is probably the right way to describe that fight. I would probably favor Teofimo Lopez in that fight. However, it's a very, very 50-50 fight. And then the winner goes for the two belts to go fight Jaron Boots Ennis. And that would be a mega fight to probably start off 2026. Because if both guys, I'd probably say 2026. Maybe you could get it in by December of 2025. But I think early 2026, you get that mega fight. And that would be a huge blockbuster fight. So if I were to outline this plans for these guys, I'd say Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez fight next. Boots Ennis takes care of his mandatory. He's going to easily defeat him. And then at that point in time, the winners of those fights will go unify together and go make a big fight at the end of 2025, early 2026. It makes plenty of sense. And at that point in time, I believe if Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez, whoever beats those guys, if they defeat Jaron Boots Ennis, at that point, you then go for undisputed at 147. You would then have two of the belts. You could go fight Barrios or Pacquiao. Obviously, we'll see how that fight goes. Or Brian Norman, whatever happens. If Boots Ennis goes on to win that fight, he then is set in position to say, you know what? I can either go for undisputed at 147, or this is now my time to move to 154. I've made my mark at 147, move to 154, and possibly go fight, obviously you go fight Bud Crawford if he still wants to fight at 154. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but obviously you have that. The big fight I think everybody wants to see, Virgil Ortiz, so on and so forth. So I think that's the outline for both those guys. And I think that would make plenty of sense because all those fights would be massive. And honestly, the winner that comes out of that gauntlet, you're talking about solidifying themselves in the top 10 pound-for-pound list and probably working themselves up to maybe the 6 to 8 range probably as well. So we'll see what ends up unfolding there. But that's what I'd like to see have happen for Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and Boots Ennis moving forward.